I'm going to bring up somewhat questions I've given you in advance, but also organic, and it impacts me as well. So I'm curious. We have a certain camaraderie in how we view the world. I'll leave it at that. We don't have really any history together at all. But what do you feel people get wrong about you, Cheryl? In other words, do you ever feel misunderstood? And I'm going to use the N word, and not everybody get nervous in the studio or anyone at home, but at times when people are very visible, they get called a narcissist. They get called, and people don't take the time to understand them or get to know them. And I was just curious, have you ever had to deal with that? How have you overcome that? That might not be the right word, because you seem so unstoppable, and you came along at a time where you were really blazing a trail, in my opinion. That's why I've fought so hard for years to get you on the program. So have you ever felt misunderstood? That's a simpler way to put the question.
I had a psychologist call me that one time.
See?
Now, a lot of it's because I love fashion, I love color. People say, Cheryl, when you enter a room, the whole atmosphere changes. And you haven't even said anything. Now, not everybody can handle that.
Right.
Especially my own family. But Jesus wasn't even loved accepted in his own backyard. And so I had to fiercely decide to be myself. But because people who know me know that I will give you anything, do anything for you, everything I've learned, I will teach you. I will give you the cheat sheets, because chances are most people aren't going to do it anyway, because it takes so much work.
You're absolutely right.
Right? So I have nothing to hide. I will share every secret, that will help you be your best. But I don't hold anybody to my standards, nobody. And I have high standards. But nobody gets held to my standards, because that would be judging. And that would be unfair, So, but I tell you, you want to know what I really get judged for?
The guns.
You better say it. Sun's out, guns out. I mean, come on. I've had
I'd
these
give anything
things.
to look like that for 20 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what. We can do a photo op later. You hold your hands back like that.
Okay.
I'll sneak behind you and pop these babies out.
We'll
and,
do
we're doing it, right?
I'm not let you get out of that.
But anyway, here's the thing. I've not been understood. Because I am all natural. Just incredibly genetically blessed. And there's not a lazy, I wish I had and then we have funny bones, but I don't think I have a lazy bone in my body. But something a little more personal, where I have had a hard time is, and you don't know this, but I have a speech impediment. And my name's really hard for me to say, you to say, everyone to say. Cheryl Ann Silich. And I Silich. I never said Cheryl Ann Silich. I used to say Cheryl Silich. And when I was in college, my first week in college, I'm trying to be friends with everybody. To make one new friend, right? So this good-looking man like you comes up, co-ed, standing on the corner. We get there right about the same time. I'm thinking, I'm going to make my first friend. So I extend my hand and my smile, and I say, I'm Cheryl Silich. And he says, I know who you are. And I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. Like 6,000 people, and somebody already knows little old me from Hobart, Indiana. He says, I know who you are. You're the girl with the lisp.
Oh, wow.
You know what, Kurt? When I was in grade school, my parents sent me in my Catholic uniform on my recess hour. I walked over to the public middle school for speech therapy. After coming home for a week crying, my parents said, you don't have to go anymore. My dad had one. I didn't know. It's how you talk. Disney characters have them. I didn't know I was being judged so harshly. But that day in college, I went back to my dorm room, and boy, did I cry. And then boy, did I get mad. And then I figured out when you get mad, you can take action and take that anger and put it into action. I've done that many times through my life. And you put it into something powerful. I told my guidance counselor what had happened. She said, why don't you walk on over to the speech therapy department? Valparaiso actually offers this as a degree program. And you know what? I signed up. I was the next human guinea pig in the Valparaiso University Speech Therapy Lab, and I practiced to say my name, and I added my middle name in. My mom used to call me Cheryl Ann when I was in trouble, right? Yeah. And then I'm Cheryl when everything's good, and then I'm Sherry to some, and then I'm Cher to a very few, that real intimate people call me Sherry. This gets shorter, right? But I had to use the Ann when I say Cheryl and Silich, it gives my tongue enough time to get to the right place to say Silich. Because would you believe this? I know you're not going to believe this, but I lack muscles in my tongue, so I can't say it. It never goes away. And then you know my husband, Don. You guys are both in real estate. Yeah. Don says to me, well, honey, are you going to change your name when we get married? Of course, I've been on TV all these years.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
His last name is Stafford. I'm like, I'm not going to be Cheryl Silich Stafford. Hello, and no.
Sorry.
But here's the thing. I said, I got a great idea. If you want to be Don Brown, I am all in. Let's all in.
Let's change your last name.
So I'm still Cheryl Ann Silich.
I got you.